Greetings, beloveds. This is Amy Karen Johnson, the Earth Channel, here with you with a live channeled message today on what some of you may be observing as Christmas Eve. Happy holidays to you, whatever you may be observing today or experiencing. I wanted to do a live video today, partly because I am going to be out of town tomorrow and not able to do my normal creation of a weekly video on Saturday. And also because the energies right now are a bit intense, and I really wanted to explain them a little bit and get a message from Gaia for you to help you through this hectic holiday energy. I can't share things as easily when I'm on a live video, but I want to try to explain as best I can. Most of you who follow my channel are familiar with human design, as I have generally made quite a few videos about some aspect or another of human design. Human design is a type of astrology. If you're watching and you're unfamiliar with it, please feel free to go run your own chart if you would like. The one I always refer to, although I am not associated with it at all, is humandesignamerica.com/chart. And if you don't know your birth time, just use noon and it will give you a good starting place. This will give you, that site in particular will give you some free sample reports as well as some very low priced reports if you want to go a little beyond that. I can't guarantee that it's 100% in line with everything I usually adhere to. So if you'd like your own reading from me, I am still offering 50% off with the discount code YES, yes. I think all caps is best if you can use those. And of course, my website is Amy Karen, CARYN is how you spell Karen, Johnson, JOHNSON.com. And just click on readings and messages there. There are some really great prices, very accessible, close to the same price as what you will find on Human Design America. Right now, at least with the discount. So once you've done that, maybe you're watching this on the replay and maybe you want to pause and go run a chart so you can just have some idea of what I'm talking about. It is astrology based. And I did make a couple of videos about this particular phenomenon last year. Basically, Uranus and Pluto, one was retrograde last year, the other was direct, and now it's vice versa. They're in, the 24th and 61st gates. Those two gates are located in what human design refers to as the head center, loosely correlates to the crown chakra. And there are 3 gates in that one. The other one, the 24th gate, is in the ajna, what human design calls the ajna, loosely correlates to the third eye. And so when you have a transit like that with heavenly bodies defining gates at either end of one single channel, excuse me, it's as though for that time, everyone has those 2 centers defined, whether they are defined and colored in your birth chart or not. So this represents quite a lot of not only mental energy, but also, excuse me, also fixed is the best word to use there. It can also mean stuck, especially because we have also not had definition connecting, unless you have it yourself in your birth chart, connecting the third eye center, the ajna, to the throat. And so whatever definition you might have in the rest of your chart, it may be very disconnected from the fixed mental energy that is happening up here. As you can imagine, this when you have that kind of thing going on, it can feel very disconnected. It can almost feel bipolar or schizophrenic a little bit in a way. I don't want to overuse those words. I'm not saying that we're all going to have dysfunction in that respect, in that way, but it can cause some problems, to say the least. We're having some very dry weather right now, so need a little tea there. So there are a lot of ways that we can, through our focus, through taking just a brief period here and there of respite, meditation, contemplation, whatever you want to call it, even rest, just rest is great. But if you can focus a little bit on these techniques that I believe Gaia is going to share with you, because she's been encouraging me to do these, and this has been happening for quite some time. We had a little break. Like I said, it was happening for a long time last year, but now, of course, it's been going, and it's going to finally end again on in the middle of January. Excuse me. So those channels, I just want to say before I get into the channeling state, excuse me, sorry. Normally I would edit these out, but this is live. Channels, of course, as they sound, represent those venues, those ways of connecting energy. Just because a center or a channel isn't defined, those gates aren't defined or colored in your chart, doesn't mean that that channel is not still there. It is still there, if only we can tune into the energies of the gates that represent that channel and thereby make those connections. And so I think that Gaia has some great ways to help us do that anytime we wish to. And I really encourage you to find time to do that. I know everyone is really busy right now. It's kind of crazy. Also, one other astrological aspect that is making things a little difficult right now is that Mars and K2 are conjunct. Those of you who have been following my channel also know that I adhere to not only human design with the tropical placements of those gates, those 64 gates, but also I overlay that on the sidereal zodiac, which is unique. And that sidereal zodiac is typically used by Vedic astrology. K2 is also known as the south node of the moon. But Vedic astrology gives us a really rich set of stories, mythology, in order to understand them better. And K2 in general tends to be the unconscious, the intelligence within our bodies more so, but because the story goes, it's the body of the serpent and Rahu is the head, the north node of the moon. It is detached, it is cut off, similar to the way that this definition right now is happening with the third eye and crown being defined, but not necessarily connected with definition to the rest of our bodies. And of course, with K2 being conjunct Mars, there's quite a bit of tension there. Okay, I did want to take some time to explain some of this that's going on. I think I've explained it well enough for now. I've taken 9 minutes of the live video. So I will go ahead and take a few deep breaths, close my eyes. Feel free to join me if you would like. Gaia may have some extra messages for you if you would like to join me in trying to connect with her. Hello, this is Gaia. As Amy spoke about in the introduction to this video, there are ways for you to connect the different areas of intelligence within your body using various channels, meridians, connections. There are many ways to do this. Last year, we also, in addition to the videos that Amy referred to, where this aspect with Uranus and Pluto connecting the crown and third eye centers. In addition to those videos about that, we did a video about the infinite tree. And if you search that, you can probably find it from last year. We spoke about the value of imagining yourself as a tree, imagining your central channel as a tree, and your energy field in some respects as a tree. We would like to elaborate upon that concept for you now, and of course remind you as well, and elaborate upon its value. As we said last year, the tree gives a wonderful illustration, especially deciduous type trees, which have their roots, of course, spreading down into the ground, as well as their branches sort of mirroring that image with them rising up into the sky and also branching out. That image represents what could be seen as the inverse of what some of you may know as a torus field or a toroidal field. Torus fields or toroidal fields are often described as a donut. They don't necessarily fully resemble a donut, but a donut gives you a good place to start with your visualization of this concept. The electrical field around anyone living, as well as planets and even the sun, stars, fans out in this torus shape. And so if you can imagine a tree growing up through the middle of the donut with the trunk going through the center and then branching out at the top and the bottom with the roots, you can imagine how that interplays with a torus. In addition, if any of you are familiar with the nervous system, nerve cells, you may be familiar with what are called dendrites. With terminology referring to your nervous systems, there are all kinds of references to trees. Arborization, I believe, is another one that Amy found earlier today. Dendrites or dendritization, there are many different forms of that word, refers to the branching that occurs with, of course, branches, also roots, and nerve cells. They branch out as they reach toward other nerve cells, and then they send their messages on at the ends of those branches. This also offers you a wonderful illustration as to how you can imagine your own electrical field, electromagnetic field, and how it helps to connect you with energies from all over, even, of course, the planet, since, yes, the planet also has, excuse the noise, an electromagnetic field around it. We do. Gaia does, yes. Anytime you can relax enough and become aware of that electromagnetic field around you, as well as the electromagnetic field around anyone else, even us, Gaia, it gives you access to an expansive feeling of love, unconditional love, at least more so from where you were coming. And that sort of love is not the type that clings. It always wants what is best for everyone, the other as well as oneself. And so, if you are away from someone and wish that you were not, wish that you were with them, we invite you to connect with us because we are always available. We love you unconditionally. Also, by connecting with us, we have one other parallel and metaphor to share with you about this value. Most of you are familiar with the concept of lightning rods. And of course, the idea is that rather than causing destruction in a person or a home, if you have a lightning rod on top, the lightning will prefer that highest point, that conductive quality of that material. It's attached with a wire down to a rod that is inserted into the ground, into the earth. And it prevents all of that electricity from doing damage. You can do the same thing by connecting with us. Whether it is through your imagination, which indeed creates more connections like that, or through actual physical connections, contact with the earth, with nature. And the more coherent you can make that connection, the better. We've spoken about coherence before, but it has been a while as well. Coherence, as you can probably guess, has to do with making sense of things, having them be a little more ordered. We're not talking in terms of being OCD, anything like that, but simply being aware of patterns, connections, and the ability always to connect and even to identify with more than just your physical self. This energy, with the head being slightly disconnected from the energy of the rest of your bodies, can promote going around and around in circles in your minds, in your thoughts. You may be obsessing a bit about certain scientific theories, the scientific field in general, realm in general, tends to be quite a heady field. And yet, if you truly get into it, you will notice that even scientists disagree with each other, argue with each other, have different perceptions and perspectives on what reality truly is. And they tend to focus most on physical reality. And yet, when you get to concepts such as life, dreams, feelings, things that are not easily seen, sometimes not easily heard, and sometimes not easily touched. Things you may see, hear, or feel in terms of indications of them, but as to their essence, you must depend upon deeper senses. You are not just your physical body. You are a luminous being. And whatever kinds of holidays you may be celebrating this month or last month, whatever thoughts or expectations you may have around the giving of gifts, we guarantee that what everyone wants the most is to truly feel loved. Now, of course, you cannot force anyone to love you necessarily. You can choose to love yourself. You can choose to give yourself a break, have more understanding for yourself. And you can choose to acknowledge your feelings, your dreams, your happiness, your desires as real. That simple acknowledgement alone will help even what you might consider to be bad feelings to not hurt so much. When you truly allow yourself even to feel something like sadness, or even to acknowledge a feeling of anger, just that awareness, just that recognition of it can feel very good and help it to dissipate faster once its purpose has been served. One final way you can love yourself is by ensuring that you have your needs met. You're the only one who can truly do that. If you don't, it's much less likely that anyone else will. If you do have dependable help, then be grateful for that as well. That is a wonderful thing and a wonderful gift. Acknowledge what you need to be healthy in your body and mind. And we invite you to connect with us for that reason as well. Your connection to us will help your health in any way that you will allow it to. We thank you so much for joining us today. Happy holidays. Namaste, beloveds. I hope you enjoyed that. Have a spam comment. Lovely. There. Should hopefully be gone now. All right. I hope that helps you, even if you're coming back to this message later. I'm going to, I don't know exactly the word to use for this. This live video comes up under my live videos, at least the one that's being created right this very moment as I make it. But then I usually try to make it into one that I can have under all my other videos, which is not under live, but it's the replay is what I call it. And I may promote it a little bit just to make sure, hopefully, that anyone who really needs to hear this message is able to. So if you don't find this under live videos, that's what I did. I have limited editing capabilities though, so please excuse the clearing of the throat. It's a challenge a bit at this dry time of year where I live. I hope you're having a most blessed Friday, weekend, holiday, whatever you might be observing right now. Namaste, beloveds.